All right, so it looks like we've got an update on the whole Cenk Uygur TYT union story. This is definitely one of the weirdest stories I've ever seen, just because it's really sort of, I don't know, hard to comprehend and understand. And it just seems like people are using this in like their own ways. So I was on Twitter looking at people who are talking about this. There's a new piece out in Politico talking about this. There's a bunch of new stuff out because they recognized the union because they voted in favor of having a union. So, I was looking on Twitter. Most of the tweets about it were people who were neoliberals, people who are like Clinton supporters, Biden supporters, who are like, oh, Cenk Uygur's an idiot. I told you he's a fraud. So there's those people, and then there's conservatives doing that as well. And it's really weird to see. It's like everybody's using this for their own thing. You can go look at it yourself. It's really weird stuff. Um, but this story says inside the union campaign that roiled left-wing network, the Young Turks. So it explains some of this stuff. They went to International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, and it says here. But that came only after a drive that included two separate complaints to the National Labor Relations Board, the company's rejection of card check in favor of a secret ballot, a typical business practice that Sanders and other progressives have fought against, allegations of a political conspiracy to sink Uygur's recent congressional campaign, and at least two 1,500 word plus screeds that Uygur emailed to staff arguing against employees forming a union, which were obtained by Politico. One NLRB complaint over the termination of a pro union employee is still pending. Before IATSE came in, I think we used to have a great relationship with everyone at the company. But maybe I am Michael Scott and I thought we were friends and family, but you never saw it that way, Yuga wrote in an email to employees last week as negotiations between the union and the company continued. I'm hoping that isn't the case, that some folks got you to believe that being adversarial with management is the right thing to do. The internal union battle is the latest high profile instance of a liberal organization thrown into turmoil by the process of unionization as lower level employees allege that managers' progressive politics were more virtue signaling than practiced. And they talk about how there was even, remember there was like that little, there was that like scuffle in the Bernie Sanders campaign in the beginning about like $15 minimum wage and unionizing and stuff like that. Um, here's a quote. I've never said that a union is perfect under any circumstances, and I've never said that a union is bad under all circumstances. I think they're very, very good under most circumstances, Uygur said in an interview Friday morning. And if the right wing or even now some of the left wing can't do nuance and they think, no, the world is black and white and a union is either perfect in every circumstance or a disaster in every circumstance, then honestly they're idiots and totally wrong, and that should be obvious to any rational human being. Now, he's definitely right there, and it's definitely true that not every union, not every action taken by a union is good. Like, I remember the NFLPA, they would always do these appeals. I forgot if it was it's like Randy Gregory or someone who like he would like beat his girlfriend or something like that. Got some suspension handed down. Then they appealed it, and then it got down to like 4 games from like 8 games or something like that. I forgot, but that kind of made me realize like, oh, every action that a union does is not a good thing. Not all unions are great. Police union, obviously, people not such big fans of the police union. Lefties not such big fans of police unions. So I mean that's just a fact, right? Obviously, that is absolutely true. And some of the actions that certain unions will take are not good. So he's correct about that. And then also, this kind of goes into another piece. Um, there's another email Uygur sent to staffers before their vote began earlier this week. He again urges his employees to vote no, using arguments that several staffers characterize as typical anti-union talking points, often deployed by Republicans. Quote, there's no magic that creates more money by having a union, especially at a company that does not yet make a profit. One of the top concerns I have is that having a union will cost us too much money, and that will not only endanger the company but also leave less for all of us. In terms of the letters that I wrote, I meant every word of it. I don't mind it being public, Uygur said in the interview. And so there's some other quotes from this piece, actually. So in one of them, he actually breaks down like a scenario of like this hypothetical number breakdown, saying that if you want to raise pay, I guess you would lose employees and people would have to be on the chopping block. Um, and so I think the crucial piece here is that he's explaining that it would be detrimental to the existence of the company. I think that's the key piece that he's saying here. And so unionizing is tough for a small business. So when you're talking about something like Walmart or some big corporation, McDonald's, they got a lot of employees, their profits are very high. That's the type of place where you want to unionize. You've got a lot of workers. It's a serious business, and they have enough money to have a union. Okay, they have enough money because if you have a union for a smaller business, and they're sort of negotiating these higher things that they can't afford, well, what happens? The business is going to go under. So if you're TYT, you're either barely making a profit or not making a profit at all. How is it going to survive? It doesn't make any sense. This is what I don't understand about lefties in general. I think this is why lefties lose in general, actually. But here's the funniest part. This is the thing that I laughed at the most. It says late Thursday evening, after TYT staffers' votes had been tallied, 9-6 in favor of unionization, Uygur sent a much more conciliatory note to staffers. Let me repeat. 9-6. What is 9 plus 6? 15. The Young Turks have 15 employees. 15 employees. And all of this kerfuffle of a union is for a union of 15 employees. These people are acting as if this is some union with like 400,000 people. Seriously. 15, bro. That doesn't even hit 20 people that they're trying to set up a union. And so we had heard that it was 15. I didn't actually think it was 15. I thought it was an understatement. It's literally 15 effing people. I mean, this is insane. This is all for show. Yeah, Cenk says, as you all know, I didn't think it was a great idea under our circumstances, but that is totally irrelevant now. What's most important is that we said we would respect their choice, and of course we are. He had an interview that, quote, our benefits are fantastic, our pay is good, so I don't know what they're going to ask for, but we'll find out soon enough. And so what I actually want to know is I want to know directly what the reason for the union strikers, these people, or union, desirers want that they don't have now. That's what I want to know. If they could let us know, if they could send out a tweet like, yo, Cenk and TYT is not giving us this, I want to see. I want to see what it is. Lay me out your sort of demands, right? So like for a Walmart or McDonald's one, they'll be like, yo, we're getting paid, starving wages. We don't have health care. There's no overtime pay. They clear it out. Be like, yeah, unionize, bro. They have a lot of profits. Boom, 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 right? Boom, 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 boom. That's what you do, right? In this scenario, I want to know what they're not getting. Tell me what it is. And then I want to see if they meet the normal numbers. And then if they do, and you sort of can't go up because TYT is not a profitable company, you're just going to bankrupt the company. Which is like, why would you do that? All of this garbage to me just seems like a stupid exercise in futility. I don't know what the purpose of this is. If there's no sole purpose in this scenario, right? Like a real need for something or a desire for something that's unfair here in terms of bennies, benefits or pay or whatever. This is why I think the left loses. They do this stupid stuff. You're talking about like the biggest online progressive network. They're crucial. Their existence is crucial. And you're threatening their existence for an effing union of 15 people when there's not even clear what it is that you're not getting. I want to know. I mean, let me know. You know what I mean? Again, like I just told you, when you talk about Walmart workers, whatever, these people are getting paid starving wages, yada, 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 so they can negotiate for higher wages that the company can actually afford. Okay, and these people are, I'm sure, getting decent to all right pay for their job, and they want even more, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how TYT is going to be able to pay for that money, but this is my thing is like, why would you waste your time on this? We're talking about corporate chains with hundreds of thousands of employees, and you're dragging the name and the reputation of TYT in the mud for a ducking union of 15 people. And this is why the left loses. You do this kind of stuff. And TYT's never even been like, I know say like leftist organization. It never struck me as like leftist per se. And also this super pro union thing. I don't even see them being all that crazy about unions. But unions are great in situations like Walmart or something like that. Something serious. Not in a company that's barely profitable, if profitable at all. You're already getting reasonable pay and benefits. And then, you have 15 employees. That's not how it's supposed to be. This is a clown show. Let's keep it real, dude. All this is just a clown show. It's all just an absolute clown show. This is a massive waste of time. This is why the left loses. They waste their time on dumb stuff like this for stupid purity tests. It's not like real purity tests where it's like, yo, are you taking corporate PAC money? Candidate, am I going to support you as that? Oh, you're taking corporate PAC money? I'm not supporting you as my purity test. That's a legit purity test. a purity test of like, oh, you need to practice what you preach. I don't even know where this whole thing came from in the first place. It kind of sprung out of nowhere, you know. It kind of sprung out of nowhere. But to anybody who's sort of like feeding into the narrative on this, like you're damaging the left. I don't think you realize it, but this is why the left loses. So all these people, and I see accounts. Some of these accounts are like hamper and sickle accounts, and people are like, hey, they can't afford to go any higher with the union, and they're like, well, then they shouldn't have employees. Well, it's like, dude, you're just kind of then there goes the biggest online progressive show. Is that really a good decision? You're talking about fighting for actual change while you're wasting your time doing stuff to sort of puff up your wiener, to puff up your sort of I don't know, like your sense of like, yeah, I don't even know what to call it at this point, dude. This is so stupid. I've never seen such a waste of time. And then it's an org that like apparently the emails go back to 2018, but by 2018 they had already endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016. This is a very corporate organization. All right, IATSE. It's a very corporate organization. Endorse Hillary, endorse Christy Smith. We're talking about like a seriously corporate organization. And it's just like those employees, those 15 employees, man, y'all suck, dude. I don't know what to tell you. You guys are terrible, man. I mean, thanks for laying out all this damage for your quest for I don't know what you're puffing up of whatever. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know what the purpose of all this stuff was. And again, if you want to change my mind, I want to see, TYT Union tweet at me what specifically you're not getting that you want. Be upfront. We already know what it would be for other companies' employees, and explain to me how you think that it's solvent for the company. I'm just curious. That's what I want to know. So you could convince me that way. Otherwise, this is all a waste of time, exercise in futility. And anybody playing into this narrative is just doing damage to themselves. But a lot of these people are morons who just sit there kind of jerking off on Twitter, and they just do that type of stuff. And like, oh, Cenk, you were not unionizing. And it's like, dude, you're not doing anything, dude. You're just on Twitter, just jerking off. That's it. And so don't be that guy. But this is why the left loses. You just waste your time on like little stupid garbage like this when there's serious fights. And that's why the left loses, man. Y'all are stupid as hell.